What's up, guys? It's Hamilton. I'm going to do a Power BI walkthrough. It'll be a two-part walkthrough. First part will be problems 1 through 5. Second part, problems 6 through 10. This walkthrough will allow you to kind of go at your own pace. And the purpose of this is not so that you can just copy down and do exactly what I do, but the purpose of this is that you'll hopefully understand Power BI better and how to use it. Because the better you know how to use it with this homework, when we're kind of walking through with you, the more this will help you in the later homeworks and if you ever use Power BI for a project. So just a quick walkthrough I kind of want to show you guys because I didn't do this in class, is when you get your data, alright, so you come down here, click Get Data, SQL Server. A quick and easy way to get the server is go to Server Management Studio. If you right click this right here, connect, click Database Engine, just copy down the server name, and that is the server name that's asking for in this. Paste it. You can go ahead and type in your database if you want, TSQL 2012. I would click OK, but I've already got it over here, and you just click the appropriate tables that you want, which are all for this. So go ahead and get started. Number 1 of the homework asks you to provide all supplier names and their country where the contact title displays a member of the sales team and sorted by contact title. So again, when I do Power BI homework, I like to have my Server Management Studio up. I won't be going back and forth very much just so you can get a Power BI walkthrough. But if you look at that data, you'll see that there are 3 types of teams: your sales agents, your sales manager, and your sales representative. So again, the first thing we're going to do is it asks for all supplier names and their country where the contact title displays a member of the sales team and sort them by contact title. So if it asks you to sort that by something, it's usually easiest to click that first. So we're going to come over here, go to the suppliers table, click contact title, and it'll give us a list of all the titles. I usually like to start off with a basic table like this just to make sure I have all the correct data. And then contact name, and then lastly their country. So it's a simple click walk through all of these, but now this gives us all this information, but we don't need everything. Again, all we need is the sales team. So if you come down here to filters, click contact title, scroll down, you'll see 3 different sales teams: sales agent, sales manager, and sales representative. So now, let me make this a little bigger. Again, if you want to make it bigger, come over here to the filter section. I believe go to, let's look at general and change the text size to something a little bit bigger. It's a lot easier to see. So again, sales agent, sales manager, sales representative, this is everything we asked for. So this was problem pretty straightforward, pretty simple. If you want to organize it by something else, let's say country, you can click this little drop down button and it'll organize it by country alphabetically. Go back to contact title and do the same thing. This problem's pretty straightforward. Okay, so delete this one now. Number two asks us to use Power BI to list the products that cost more than $20. So first we'll come over here to the production products table, and we will find unit price and product name. Now this one was nice and already kind of sorted it for us. So you can see here that it's, since we clicked unit price first, it went ahead and sorted everything by unit price from greatest to lowest. If you would have clicked product name, it wouldn't have done that, and you would just had to bring the product name up to the axis and not have it in the value. So again, this gives us all the unit prices and the product names, but it doesn't filter. We need something that costs more than $20. So just like we did the last problem, come down here to filters. This time though, we're going to change this from is less than to is greater than. Make sure you're doing is greater than and not is greater than equal. Press 20 and apply the filter. There you have make sure you drag it out, make sure it's good enough. You have every single product, you can see over here when you toggle over it, that is greater than $20. Let's say, this looks nice, but it's kind of hard to read specifically all these data values, so we can come back over here and turn data labels on. And now, if you see this number right here, kind of looks ugly compared to all the other numbers. So what we can do to change that, right now currently the decimal is on auto. Let's go ahead and change that to 1 decimal place. That way we can see every single value. And then now everything looks a lot better and it's a very clean graph. Again, another pretty straightforward one, so we'll move on to number 3. And if you ever need more time, just feel free to pause the video. Alrighty, so now we'll move on to number 3. I had a technical difficulty, so I had to pause the video. So number 3 says, create a visualization to show how many products each supplier has that cost more than $20. So we think of something that says how many products, that would, a good way to think of that is a count. And so we can come back to that, or just remember that as we go forward. So over here, we're going to select unit price and supplier ID. Now, as I mentioned, I don't like to start with these graphs. I prefer to start with this just to make sure all my data is correct. And the data is a lot easier to manipulate in this little table format. So currently it has a sum of all these, and that's not what we want. So we're going to click this and click Don't Summarize. I want individual values to start off with, so click Don't Summarize on both. Now, currently it's not filtered, so it said to any products that cost more than $20. So we've done this already twice. Coming down here to unit price, it's on advanced filtering. Click is greater than, and then put 20, and apply the filter. Now you see some of the tables some of the values went away because they were not greater than 20. But still, currently it gives us a listing of everything, but it doesn't tell us specifically which suppliers. It's not grouped, or it's called a group by in SQL terms. So we're going to come over here to, now if you organize it by supplier ID, we actually want to do it by unit price. So we're going here to get a count. Again, we asked how many, and now it'll count how many the cost unit price there are per each supplier ID. So we could leave it like this, but it's not very pretty, and it doesn't extremely show all the values. So we can come over here to a stacked column chart. Kind of click around, see which ones you like best. I'm going to do this for the purpose of the video. And there you have it there. But again, I think it would look better if maybe we used a legend and put supplier ID in the legend. And what this will do, this will organize things by the supplier ID. Rather than having everything the same color, it's a lot easier to reference now. And it's easier to tell, which ID belongs to which count of unit price. So this problem is a little more complicated, but not too bad. And with that, we will move on to number 4. All right, number 4 asks, I like this problem a lot, create a visualization to map out each customer based on their zip code and identify each customer by name. So it asks zip code, and we're going to go ahead and go to sales customers. Here it's postal code. It's more of a universal term. So when you first click postal code, it takes you to a world map. Now this is really cool. Oops, didn't mean to zoom in. We're going to drag that over here. And it's somehow, for some reason, zooming in. Anyway, if you can see it like this, it's asking to map out each customer based on their zip code. While this is nice, it's kind of jumbled up. We want to use the map more as a reference. So what we want to do now is find a way to sort the information, okay? So it looks nice, but then again, you don't want to have to click through all these to find the zip code you want. So we come over here to this little filter button, a slicer. Make sure, I always do this, make sure you're deselected from this graph so that it doesn't replace it with this one. And we'll drag this down right here. Now we want to replace these values, put postal code in there. So now what we do is when we select these postal codes, it takes the exact position, which is really cool. Again, now this is great, but it asks us to identify each customer by their name. So an easy way to do this, if you come back to click the map, come over here to contact name, and it'll give us all of the names. Now you could leave it on the top up here, but you'd have to sort through it each way like this, and it takes too long. It's kind of unorganized. So if we come over here to the little paint symbol, you can change the legend. So it's currently on, but the position of it is the top. Why don't we change it to the right side? This gives us a much more, easier to view overall perspective rather than something being at the top. You don't have to scroll near as much. So we're going to add one more thing before we go with this. Now you can see here, this is great, but if you're bringing it to your boss, I know I don't have all the postal codes memorized of which their locations are. So why don't we add a country? So a great way to get a single result is you come over here to the 1, 2, 3 card. Whoops, see, did it there again. Control Z, make sure it's deselected, add this card in. We're going to drag it down here, reformat it, make it look nice, and put this with this value to be the country. Okay, so now when we select something, it tells us, gives us the specific location, the country that they're from. Now this is the country that the customer's from, and then I don't know why they're from Mexico there. Maybe that is their home is in Mexico, but they're located in New York, and it's Italy again. I think this is the contact name may not be specifically tied to there because this is their first country. So they may have multiple countries that they're tagged to. So anyway, it looks really good, and it's a great way to organize the data and impress your boss in that sense. So we're going to delete all these, and lastly we'll run through number 5 for this video. Now number 5 asks, create a visualization to display the number of stores in each country. So when you think number, you're going to think account. So for this one, number of stores in each country. So we'll go over here to production.suppliers. Oh, sorry, number of suppliers. I said number of stores. My bad. Number of suppliers. And it asks you for their country. So we'll go ahead and select country. Again, it gives us the map, but the thing about this is you don't have to sit here and count each specific supplier in all the countries. That would take way too long. So we're going to go with a donut chart, and I'll explain why here in a second. So what this currently gives us is no information because all that's there is a country in the legend. So we're going to drag the country over here to the values as well. And now it gives us the count of each specific country. So 4, 3, 2 per supplier. And the reason it did that, it automatically went to the cutoff country. It did that because country was already in the legend. If country wasn't in the legend, it would give you a total. It gives you a total of all, or a sum of all the countries. So hey, that looks nice, it's great, but I want to go ahead and organize it to where I don't have to try to sit here and compare USA with France and Germany, or which one's greater or less. So go into these little drop down and go ahead and click sort by count of country. Now it's more of a donut chart as far as the numerical values going from ascending to descending, and then less to greater. And then again, I don't have to click over the values or toggle over the values to assume which one it is. So we're going to go ahead and change data labels. Now they're currently on, but it's under category. We want to do both the data value and the labels. Make it a little bigger, and there you go. That's a pretty quick graph. It's pretty easy to use, and this will be all for the first video. Go ahead and watch part 2 if you need to know problems 6 through 10. Thank you very much.